Oh, here we go. What's it saying? Oh no, warning. The following page is filled with swearing. A lot of swearing. John Rula presents the Hose Down Clown Show. Number one, here we are. Greetings, people. And you're going to watch me, John Rula, do a collage. If that's the most fun thing you've ever heard of, good for you. Okay, so here we go. This is a picture with a lot of ziggy lines in it. So the reason I'm putting this piece down first is I saw the black and white image as really interesting and wonderfully has a lot of movement in it, right? Because of the zigzagginess of the black and white. So I laid that down first to give the piece a bit of movement to sort of go off of. And when I do collage, I don't really think about what I'm doing too hard, because I used to really focus on each single piece and where it went and how perfectly balanced it was. I still work at trying to make it as, if I'm going linear and using linearness, then I try to be as accurate as I can. But other times I've made collages where I just slap stuff down in different angles and stuff, and they turn out interesting. But you got to be careful when you do a piece that's not linear, because you're usually working with rectangular pictures, or like me, I usually work with squares or rectangles. I don't cut out too many circular pieces and stuff like that, because I find it much more trying and difficult, and I want to have fun when I do collage. And so here I am putting this large piece down, not knowing if it'll be covered up later on, not caring really. But you see to the left of the image, between the black line of the lower piece and the space between them, that space I made a certain thickness so that it would accent the black line subconsciously in a way. I kind of mirrored it just a little bit so that it would be similar, but not exactly the same. So these little mind tricks I was taught in university, and I'll save you $40,000, because that's what I paid to learn absolutely nothing from most of my profs. Most of my profs taught me that if you want to paint, paint. Don't ask anybody anything. Just do whatever you like, because some of the greatest painters that have ever lived didn't get educations. And you hardly hear of them, but they've made really good livings. And people like Jean-Michel Basquiat, his work, some people look at it and go, it's a bunch of garbage. They hate it. It's just garbage. Children can do that, blah, 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 right? But what he did with a total lack of thought of what anybody would give. He didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. He just wanted to make art all the time, because he had a really difficult relationship with his father, and the whole deal, that whole thing, Daddy wants me to be a lawyer or whatever. And Jean-Michel ran away from home many times, and he was living on the street. So he was a street kid, and they were getting high and just standing around talking, dreaming about the future of being somebody someday. And Jean-Michel had a style that I find amazingly beautiful myself. I love Jean-Michel Basquiat, and his work is so incredible. Look at my GoPro. Isn't that professional? I love that shadow so much. I want two of them. I wish there were two shadows like that. Please give me two of those shadows. Sorry, I yelled. I'm sorry. I hope you don't have headphones on for that. Anyway, so Jean-Michel, he just painted, and he had problems mentally, of course, and with drugs and stuff. But the freedom that he painted at, he had a kind of carefree sort of just childlike innocence when he painted, and it transferred over when you saw his finished work. If you know anything about artwork, modern art, like Jean-Michel could draw really, really well, and he could render things very, very accurately if he wanted to, but he didn't want to. He was trying to send a message visually in a way, and he didn't give a fuck that it didn't look perfectly like a goat or a cow or whatever. He was trying to use words and visuals and everything. It was like visual poetry in a way. And like, I know poetry can be visual also, but I mean, his was in colors, colors of poetic thought, and lines and shapes and stuff. Some of his stuff, he'd literally write the name of what it was, like cow or brain or something like that. But what he taught me was that to be free of the hang up of saying, like, say I'm trying to fill an area right now, and I got a piece that I really want to put down because it's interesting to me. I'm saying something about that right now. So, and I'm telling you that's sometimes really hard to pick stuff off the paper. So that goes perfectly in the middle because it's a micro shot of something and it gives you lots of texture and it's not bleeding any ink onto the pure whiteness. That's another thing. When you do a collage, that's not the entire piece being covered and you're leaving a lot of negative space. Be very careful when you're pushing the piece down and trying to get all that air out from underneath, that you don't push the black or red or blue or whatever color the ink might be all over the white that you're trying to keep pristine and clean. And that'll make the piece be much more attractive than if you just, whatever. Anyways, right there, I was just about to try to tear those apart, but I wanted the whole image. And in old books, sometimes you just pull on them gently and they'll rip apart, no problem, right on that seam. But this book wasn't that old, it was just damaged. So what this is a micro photograph of something going through a needle, the head of a needle. That's the head of a sewing needle. And it's got some microbe on it or some microchip or some fucking thing on it. So I cut it right in half where the line goes through it, so I can use it on either side of the canvas to make the canvas, the collage. I'll say canvas a lot because I'm usually a painter, but for the collage on the paper, you want a kind of mental mind trick, sort of. You want to play with the human mind a little bit by splitting that picture and then putting it on either side of the collage. You still connect it when you put the second half on. The brain will see the connection subconsciously and it will tell you something subconsciously or make you feel something subconsciously that attracts you to the piece or whatever. That's the thought I was taught in university, is that people, when you know what people are looking at or what they might look for or what their brain's like the human brain loves puzzles. So art, like collage, is like a huge puzzle to me because you're taking images from sometimes hundreds of years of difference in time and you're putting them together in a non-linear way, which makes a really juxtaposed, surreal kind of Dadaist thing. It's strange. A collage gives you a lot of power because you're using images that other people took their whole career to create, and then you just cut them out and stick them down, and their talent gives you some weight, sort of, because you're working with such beautiful imagery but you're doing it in such a non-linear way. Forgive me, I haven't spoken for a while, narrated anything for quite a while. So, and my voice sounds like I'm a 2-pack-a-day smoker, but I'm not. I don't smoke, and it's just really rough for some reason. I sound like I am coming out of a cold, but I've always sounded like this. So, anyways, it's been like 30 years since I heard my own voice on a recording. Usually I just put music on. So if you can't deal with my voice, tell me, and I'll put music on instead. So anyways, in the collage, you can take big pieces like whatever this is, a tree, and I think it's a tree of some kind, maybe a negative image of a tree or something like that. And you can place large pieces down. And I try to leave a bit on the edge where the edge of the paper is so that if somebody wants to mount it someday, they can frame it and put in a mat that doesn't take a ton of paper away of the image. You don't lose a bunch of the image. So a lot of people tell me that I should leave maybe a 1/4 inch is a good size. So you can see on the bottom there, I've left about a 1/4 inch, but on the sides I don't for some reason. And this is my first attempt at a collage in like probably 15 years or something. So forgive me if I'm out of practice, but I'll get better as I go. So anyways, I'm trying to be really linear here and just use, these are cutout pieces that I save because they're easy to work with. You just take a piece that you've already cut and you put matte medium on it, and then you can sort of direct the person's eye through the piece. I'm sorry you can't see me what I'm applying. I'll get better as I go. I don't have a monitor right now hooked up to my GoPro, so I can't see what I'm filming. So that's a real hassle. And my computer genius is out having dinner with a friend, and she's not home right now, so she can't help me. And plus, I can't change it. It's already filmed. But I'm getting better and better at doing pre-tests of where the GoPro is. And sadly, it's on my head. And yeah, so I'm trying to get better at it. And see, I'm using these really thin strips with black lines on them. The truer the line, sometimes the better it is. But I find that if I use a line that thins really drastically, if you take a piece off like I just did, sorry, I just want to mention, if you take a piece off like I just did, you got to put more matte medium on it. And that's what I did there, because I knew if I tried to apply it again, once I pulled it up, it wouldn't stay on. So yeah, so I get better with the camera. You see less of my shirt and my hands or my gut or my feet or my legs or whatever. You'll see much more of, and I won't be trimming while I collage. I'll have pre-trimmed, so you don't have to waste time watching me cut paper up. So sometimes you grab a piece and you think, it doesn't work, you put it aside, right? And then later on you're doing something and you're just looking for something to fill in the shape, you know? Like this here, I see this strip right here. I think, hey, that might work. You know, it's kind of weird. It's part of something. So I cut it out, or I don't cut it out. I don't see it looks weird there. You know, you just get ideas and just let the experiment, you know? Have fun. Say, if I put it there, would that look cool? Or if I put it there, would that look cool? And that sort of goes against what I said about just laying shit down randomly. But you have to have some sort of control mechanism in place so you don't ruin the piece. Because you can go overboard and make a really hideous collage that people look at and go, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks a lot. I feel dizzy now. Do you have any Gravol? You know, like sort of thing. Or Dramamine, I mean. Sorry for the product placement there. They're not paying for this video. But if you're at Gravol, let me know. Hit me up. So yeah, so then I put in a nice black line that you can't see. You can see part of it. But I'll try to show you the actual collage itself, but I'm fearing that it's buried under like 150 other collages that are that size, and it would take me days to go through them. So because I'm just not perfectly healthy at the moment. So yeah, this is a book. I thought it was a Little Big book they used to sell back in the 60s. Somebody gave me a whole box of pictures one day. I forget who it was. It was an old friend gave me a box. Pardon me. And a friend of mine gave me a whole box of these pictures. And he said, check these out, man. You might need them for something. And I said, yeah, I'd love them, sure. So I start working with them. And they're beautiful. Adding color like that. They're all soft, sort of, and they're also on matte paper. It's really important if you want to do collage. Matte paper doesn't buckle and ripple as much. When I get the macro camera, I'll be able to show you a really close-up image of the side of the paper and how much it ripples, even if you put the matte medium on perfectly and you smooth it out perfectly, these weird little ripples still show up. And I think it's because one part of the image is wet and the other part of the image is dry, and the tension in the paper is weird, so it goes kind of organic or something, ripples up. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat all the time. I don't know why. Probably because I don't usually talk. Excuse me. I'm going to have to erase this. Fuck. Anyways, yeah, so I'm almost finished, and it's getting close. There's not much more room to put stuff. And so I start looking for smaller and smaller pieces to sort of direct your eye around. Yeah, and there is some writing that works really well in that spot. So, and what you can do is when you're working on a piece and you're almost finished, do a dry try. Put it down dry and see if it looks good, and then pick it up and put the matte medium on then, and know where you're going to place it. And then hold on to one edge of it if you want it to be nice and smooth and balanced and true. then you hold on to one part when you rub it down, and then you don't have to. And right now I'm going to take a knife out and show you how to lift this piece up, because I'm not happy how I put it down because it's crooked. So I want to take it, reapply the matte medium the right way this time. Last time I just rubbed it on there loosely, which was stupid. And now you take that and you put it in place, and you hold on to one part. See with no, I didn't do it there, and the first time I tell you to do it and I don't do it right, fucking bizarre. Yeah, usually I hold on to one part of it before I rub it so it doesn't move, but I don't know what happened there. Anyways, I went totally against what I was saying. I'm a failure. Oh my God. So anyways, so these little pictures are really fun to work with, especially if you have a black and white sort of hard edge thing going on. These weird soft pictures add so much to the piece, and they really do. And so sometimes I cover up whole areas with one, especially if it's too black or something, you know. So like if the area is too dark with black ink, I just take a colorful picture, cut a piece of it out, and put it on. But I don't cut any freeform shapes when I'm doing linear collage like this. I stay with rectangles, squares, stuff like that. I don't even work with triangles, just squares and rectangles at the moment, and long straight lines, depending on how big the picture I cut is. So here, as I said before, I'm not going to show you me trimming paper, because that's about as exciting as watching paint dry. But to me, I find paint drying really exciting, actually, because I'm a painter. And I'm talking about watching oil paint dry. I just spilt water all down my shirt. Excellent. So anyways, here we go. We're finishing up. Going to put a few of these pictures around some of the larger areas. And see, I set it first before I started rubbing it. And then I know it was straight and true. And all the little maze-like white shapes that appear between the images make the eye have a playful sort of arena to look through. And I find that very exciting. So yeah, now this is one of the last pieces. And I use two pieces of paper. I matte medium them together, and then I tape them down to the table usually, and I use that as the base for where I'm going to apply the matte medium, because you get a really thick buildup really quickly if you do as many as I do. Like one time I did about 14 in 2 days by 24 by 18 inches. Excuse me. And I had a ton of matte medium. It was almost a half an inch thick, big slab of matte medium on this left-hand side here where I'm applying it. It just builds up like crazy. And so I took the tape off so I could lift the matte medium block and bend it a bit so I could get the paper off, because it's hard to get the paper off sometimes, depending how long you leave it. And now I'm tearing it off the book because I'm finished. And sadly, I don't show you a good image of the finished picture. And I couldn't find one. I looked for hours. I'm sorry, kids. But they'll get better. And you'll see, you can basically see what it sort of looks like. But sadly, I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing yet. So you see the bottom half, and I don't scan up. You see my feet, a great shot of my feet. Check those feet. And my shirt, you see my shirt and my necklace and my gloves and my pants, but you don't see a fucking collage. So next one, I promise I'll have the collage. I looked for it for 3.5 days and I couldn't find it. It's in a gigantic pile. I'm serious. I did over 500 collages in 3 months, and they're stacked up and they weigh a ton. And I'm having a hard time moving them around to try to find it, so I apologize. At the end of the video I'm coming close to now, I'm going to show you another collage. Here it is, and I did it upside down because the indigenous man has been fucked over. And this is a picture of me I did as a self-portrait. It's available as a pin. I'll show it someday. And take care of yourself, peace, and make art.